Hello and welcome. My name is Tavishima Ayede. I'm the host of the show. I'm a former lawyer turned business consultant, and what I do here every day is I try to solve business problems. And today we're going to be looking at a couple of problems from a listener of the podcast. Excuse me. Her name is Anu Oluwapo Oluwaseun Ogubanjo. I hope I pronounced that correctly. She's a customer sales associate, and she's been 4 months in the job role, and she's in the hospitality space. And of course, as usual, when people reach out to me from the show, we end up chatting about a whole bunch of things, and so the conversation can go to the left, can go to the right, can go up, it can go down. So, in looking at some of her business challenges, the conversation might, stray all over the place, and we might discuss a couple of things. Although we're going to talk a lot about price resistance and then how to sell luxury online, because regardless of how the conversation goes, those are like the main things that we were focused on. Now, if you'd love to reach out to me and connect with me, just like Anu Oluwapo did. Sorry, I'm having some difficulty with your name because I went to school with some guys named Anu Oluwapo, but all of us just call them Anu, which is also the reason why when you reached out the first time, I hope I can call you Anu. So that's the reason why when you reached out the first time, I just assumed you were a guy. I didn't know you were a girl because all the Anus I know are guys. So you're the first female Anu that I'm coming across. So where was I? Gosh, I can't remember. Anyway, so if you want to connect with me just like Anu did, then the number to call, to text, or to send a WhatsApp message is 080-6466-2140. Now, the key challenge is that she's facing, sorry, let me scroll through. Okay, so her team is running, she has a media team that runs Instagram advertisements, and they're bringing in unqualified leads. So that is one of the problems. Now, there's no point in dwelling on this for very long because I've already made tons of episodes about this before. So all you have to do is just to do an AI search using my podcast, and you'll be able to find the podcast episodes where I've discussed these sorts of things. So, Anu, this is what you do. And any other person who is listening, who is curious, this is what you do. Take your favorite AI tool and then just type in, what can you tell me about the Sales for the Nigerian Business Person podcast hosted by Tavishima Ayede. Once you do that and you hit send, it's going to give you a bunch of stuff. Now, the reason why we're doing that is we're prompting the AI tool to only pay attention to my own podcast because we're going to ask for resources later. Then you will now ask, has the host made any episodes around online advertising and how to improve an advertising campaign? And then you hit send. Then it's going to give you a bunch of stuff. And you see that it's going to summarize my ideas, very succinctly there. Then, after that, you're going to put another prompt and you're going to say, give me links to specific episodes on YouTube where he has discussed these issues. Then it's now going to give you several links of all the episodes where I have discussed all these things. Online advertising. If you have a problem with your online advertising, how do you get it back on track? How do you figure out the problem? Things like that. So the reason why excuse me. Now, the reason why I'm recommending this course of action is because that I already have over 1,620 something episodes up right now. So if you ask me, honestly speaking, I can't remember every single episode that I've made that has to do with online advertising. So, Anu, please, I crave your indulgence. Just go and do that search. You'll find more resources that you can share with your team from me about how to solve this problem. But for the benefit of people who are listening to the podcast for the first time, if you're having problems with your online advertising, you got to check your targeting criteria. Because before any advertising goes live, you have to tell the tool that these are the people I want you to show the message to. These are the kinds of people. This is where they live. This is what they do. This is what they're interested in. You must have set that targeting criteria ahead of time. Now, the problem with lots of people who run online advertising is you just call somebody, you say, hey, buyer, what's up now? How you doing? Yeah, I'm good. Maybe they do online advertising. Now, okay, take this 500k, run advertisement for me. So that's just the problem. You just hand over the money to buyer, but you didn't give buyer guidance. That look, this is my ICP, this is my ideal customer profile. These are the people that, people make this mistake all the time. All the time. One of my clients in the real estate space running advertisements now, and I'm on their case. And they forgot. Just simple something. I said, show me the copy. I looked at the copy. And then from the language, I saw that they were going to advertise all over Nigeria. And I had to remind them, you're advertising all over Nigeria for what? You only deal with customers who are based in Lagos. You see, so this is where mistakes start. Who am I trying to reach? Where do they live? What do they do? What are they interested in? What kinds of jobs do they have? How old are they or how young are they? You program all this into your advertising. Once you start fixing this foundation, then we start worrying about other problems upstream. But in the beginning, lots of your advertising, naira and kobo, is wasted because your targeting criteria is off. You don't know the demographics. How old are the people you're trying to reach? Where do they live? Lagos or Ibadan or Ijebu or Kano or Sokoto? What kind of occupation are they? Are they in their 20s or are they in their 80s? Then psychographics. What kind of things are they interested in? Then location-based targeting. So many people mess up on this location-based targeting. Okay, so you're in the hospitality space. If all your hotels are in Lagos, why are you going to run nationwide campaign? For what? You say somebody might live in Ilorin, but maybe one day they might be in Lagos, then let them consider my hotel. I beg, that kind of thinking is too strained. If you're location bound and the crux of your business, everything is focused in Lagos, why the hell are you advertising in Oshun for? Just keep it Lagos, Lagos, Lagos. Advertising is expensive. We're trying to maximize the returns that we get from this advertising money that we spend. So, location-based targeting, nothing has to be on point. Now, there's some people who are not location dependent. Like me, for instance. I'm a consultant. So, no problem. If I'm advertising all of Nigeria, that one is different. If the person is based in Sokoto, we can do Zoom. That's not a problem. But not all of you are running those kinds of businesses. So, targeting criteria, demographics, psychographics, location, nothing has to be on point. Then, we also want to make sure that the copy is on point. The copy just means the words, the images, the pictures, the everything. We need to make sure that we're using the right words. Now, I'm not into design and everything like that, but if I end up working with you, that is one of the reasons why I will say, show me this thing before it goes live. Because from a sales perspective, I know that there's some key things we have to put there. Like my client in the real estate space, they're about to run the advertisement. I say, show me the copy. I looked at the thing and I said, okay, look, you know what? This design is nice. The design is sweet, but the design does not really say who it is that we're trying to reach. Are you thinking of buying real estate? Even something simple caption like that, that's the kind of thing that will catch somebody when you're scrolling. They just design the thing and they put the benefits of working with them. But the advertisement copy itself did not scream who we're trying to reach out to. So you have to plug these kinds of things in your copy. Who are you trying to target? Okay, no problem. You know who you're trying to target. But the design that we put, the design make it clear that, look, I'm trying to talk to you. If you have a beauty cream or something that stops acne, for instance, you don't just design something sweet, put your thing there, and then you now just put the benefits. Your something must scream, Are you having problems with acne? So that as the babe just scroll social media and then she sees bold, are you having problem with acne? She will stop and she will look. That's how you capture her now. Instead, you will take a picture of all your nice creams and everything there, and you just put, glow up until you grow up or something like that. Some kind of interesting advertising, jargon. Everything looks nice. Everything is happy. But the copy, the text that you're using is not screaming to anybody. Your advert is supposed to shout that, hey, it's you I'm trying to target. I'm talking to you. That's the tone. When people are scrolling, they just have a couple of seconds, when they react to adverts. So whether you like it or not, your copy must shout that, hey, it's you I'm talking to. So me, if I advertise online now, for instance, I'm not just going to put sales for the Nigerian business. I'm not just going to put, the title of my podcast and then just put, 21st century education for the discerning Nigerian business person. And I'll leave it like that. The thing is looking nice, it's looking sweet. Then I'll now clap for myself that I've done work. No. My copy should shout. Are you struggling in your business? Are you not making sales? Is your business about to die? Do you want to make more profit? I mean, something. But you should shout so that people will see it and they'll know that, oh, this guy is talking to me. Then you also need effective calls to action. Call to action just means, what do you want the person to do next? What do you want the person to do next? It must be there. So, if you're in that beauty skin care space, you take the picture and then you just put it there, glow up until you grow up, something like that. The thing looks nice. You just leave it like that. People look at it. They will scroll and pass now. But first of all, if your advertising campaign is shouting at the person first, like, oh, are you suffering from acne? And then the next thing is, click here for a free consultation. This is how we start to convert. You say, click here for a free consultation. You say, it's free? The babe might click. And then from there, start chatting with somebody in the DM. You run the campaign. Maybe 80 people click. Out of those 80, you start conversations. No how. Now you close a few deals. No how. So these are some of the things that we need to put in place to make sure that advertising campaigns run well. But I know the way I just suggested you should prompt in your AI tool, just prompt it like that. You'll get more episodes, you get more details. And if you're listening to the you're listening to the podcast for the first time, just run that prompt and you'll be cool. You'll be all right. Then you also need to make sure that your team is well trained and has a framework in place so that they can effectively sort through all these people that are coming through from the advertising campaigns, because this is also a problem. Sometimes everything is good. Your copy is good. The targeting is on point, everything. But then your team doesn't know how to sort through leads. And then that's when things begin to crumble. Serious crumble. Because your team is not trained. You don't have a framework in place. Now, what are the different things you should be paying attention to? One of them is time to lead. Excuse me. Time to lead. Now, in sales, when we say time to lead, what we mean is quick, sharp. When people are on Instagram, those of you who are running Instagram advertisements, Instagram is mostly an impulse or something. It's not something you think. You understand? So, you're advertising cars, like nobody's going to buy a car from a LinkedIn advert because a car is not something you just buy like that. You get? So, it's usually impulse buys that do well on LinkedIn, on Instagram. So in this case, you're running advertisements on Instagram. Speed to lead, quick, sharp. If somebody sends you a DM on Monday, you didn't reply to that person on Friday, you're not ready. You're wasting your time. Speed to lead, quick, sharp. So in other parts of the world, people try and do minutes for speed to lead. So if you're in America, in fact, the next time you travel to America, try it. See an advert, click on the thing, 9 o'clock. It will surprise you, 9:02. Somebody's already inside your DM, trying to hit you up, trying to talk to you. If it's the kind of thing that you clicked and you put your phone number, I can assure you, if you click on it, 9:03, somebody's already calling you. That's how they try to move. But in Nigeria, things are not that bad yet. So here, minutes and hours is okay. If somebody clicks 9, by 10, you slide into their DM, it's okay. 12, you slide into their DM, it's okay. If you wait till tomorrow, well, I understand. You can be busy. But by the time the thing is entering 3-4 days, you're not serious. So, time to lead. Have you sat down with your team and have you guys agreed? This is how we're going to share the work. And this is how quick we must get back to people. Then, need analysis. Do you guys have a framework for trying to figure out exactly what it is that people want? Because it's only when you know what somebody wants that you can make an effective proposal. Because this is what happens. Somebody comes into the DM. Are you available? How much? This, that. You know, all those kinds of questions. Then you now respond. You send a price sheet and you're waiting for the person to pick what they want. No, you're going to need analysis. Are you available for Sunday? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah, sure. We're available. Hope you don't mind me asking. What kind of event is it? Or is it a birthday? Oh, how old? Oh, this, that. How many guests are you expecting? Blah, ask question. It is after you ask all those questions and then they now say how much that you can now give an effective proposal. You don't just send price sheet. You say, okay, based on what we discussed, we're looking at this. What I would recommend is we have this kind of cuisine since it's a children's party, but we can do this option or we can do this option. So for these two options now, option A, we're looking at something like this. Option B, we're looking at something like this. What are you interested in? But you can't give an effective proposal until you do need analysis. And that's the reason why you people just send price sheet. Because you don't need analysis. So when they ask how much, you're confused. You don't know what else to say. So you just go and send price sheet. You expect the price sheet to sell for you. Then, does your team know how to secure advancements? Advancements just means you get them to take the next step. You get, how will I put it? Deals are closed one step at a time. So you have to get people to take the next step. So they look at the advert, they slide into the DM. Good. You slid into the DM. We've done some small chatting. What next? Depending on the business, would it be nice to schedule a Zoom so that people can have a Zoom conversation or what? Or site visit or whatever it is. We need to be able to break this thing down into small steps and get people to take one step after another. Is your team well trained up? And do they know how to do that? Have you guys sat down? Have you trained everybody and told them this is how we're running the thing? These are some of the problems that people face in running advertising campaigns. But like I said, Anu, this is what we'll do, because we're already at 20 minutes and I don't want podcast episodes to take too long. So Anu, just run the AI search like I told you. Any other person listening to this podcast, just run the AI search like I told you. Since there are a couple of issues that Anu raised in our chat together, let me just keep it like this for now. The next thing we're going to look at is price resistance. So let me just upload this podcast episode first. This one that I'm recording. Then later I will, I'll make a recording dealing with the price resistance one. But if you're listening to the podcast for the first time, you want to connect with me, just like Anu did. The number to call, send a text message or a WhatsApp message is 080-6466-2140. So you have questions, comments, queries, just hit me up. Let me know. Now, if you don't have time to listen to long podcast episodes, it's not a problem. I've got a WhatsApp group. You have to be joined to the WhatsApp group. There, you get PDF summaries every single day. In fact, by the time you're listening to this, the PDF summary for this episode will already be on the group. So the PDF summary is going to be 5 pages max. I've never done one that is more than 5 pages. Excuse me. So the reason why we do it like that is so you can read in 3 to 5 minutes. You get the summary, you get the key takeaways, and then all of that. So, so that's it, Anu. For now, I'll come back and do another episode on the price resistance. So thank you very much for your time and attention, especially if you're listening to the podcast for the first time. Stay tuned. We're going to continue with Anu's questions next.